I'm not fat. I'm big boned.
Wait a second. I'm not big boned. I'm just fat.
I'm not fat. I'm just big boned. Phrases like that have been tossed around for a long time to establish that people come in all different shapes and sizes. Now, even though it's definitely true that people come in all different shapes and sizes, and they have different size frames, the big bone theory makes sense if you have a couple extra pounds and you have a large frame, but it's not like being 30 pounds overweight can be explained by your bones. Even though the big bone thing may not be as true as many wish or believe it to be, there are 3 different body types, and in today's video I want to teach you exactly how to figure out what category you're in and what's the best strategy to build the maximum amount of muscle and burn the maximum amount of fat for your particular body. You could think of these body types as 3 categories, and one of these categories will describe your body a whole lot better than the other 2. These 3 categories are the Mesomorph, the Ectomorph, and the Endomorph. To give you a brief overview, the Ectomorph has a tough time putting on weight and is naturally lanky and lean. The Endomorph is the exact opposite side of the spectrum. This person will usually be larger in appearance with a heavier fat accumulation and little muscle definition. They find it hard to drop the weight even though they might have already tried several diet programs or workout plans. Then last but not least, we have the Mesomorph, which is considered the ideal body type for bodybuilding aesthetics. This is the person that is naturally muscular and can build muscle fairly easily while still staying lean. Even though the Mesomorph body type is what most people want, there are plenty of Endomorphs and Ectomorphs that have made amazing, remarkable transformations. And I'm going to give you the tips that you need for your exact body type, also referred to as your somatotype. I want to start first with the Ectomorph because that's the one that most people trying to lose weight wish they were. Here are some easy features you can look for to identify if you're an actual real Ectomorph. An Ectomorph normally has thin, lean, lanky type of muscles and physique. Usually they have long, thin limbs with stringy muscles. It's very easy for Ectomorphs to lose weight and stay skinny year-round. However, it's also super difficult for Ectomorphs to gain muscle mass or any kind of weight for that matter. If you're a true Ectomorph, you click this video most likely because you're looking for a method to build more muscle or to tone up, which for you would be building more muscle, since you probably already are super lean. Ectomorphs are also referred to as hard gainers, and they have this nickname obviously because it's so difficult for them to pack on muscle. To summarize, in order to identify if you're an Ectomorph, check for a flat chest, small shoulders, a stereotypical fast metabolism, lanky limbs, and if you have a hard time gaining weight. Good examples of Ectomorphs are Brad Pitt and Kate Moss. If you're an Ectomorph trying to gain muscle, the best tips for you are number 1, you have to make sure that you're going heavy in all of your exercises. I want you to take long breaks and lift the heaviest weight load you can lift for 5 to 8 reps of mostly compound exercises. And then always look for ways to get that weight up higher. Also, you should be eating a very high calorie diet. Like, I'm talking about forcing food down, and at least 60% of your calories should be coming from carbohydrates. The carbs will help you stay in an anabolic mode. Which reminds me, in order to stay in a muscle building mode, Ectomorphs should do everything they can to stay away from cardio altogether. You do not need to be burning any extra calories as an Ectomorph. If you're more of an Endomorph, definitely don't take that advice. You'll need an entirely different approach. For identification purposes, an Endomorph will have a substantial amount of body fat, a large appetite, trouble dropping weight, a larger frame, and a low amount of muscle definition because the muscle is covered by a layer of fat. Think of Jack Black and Queen Latifah. Those would be considered true Endomorphs. For Endomorphs, the training advice about trying to lift heavy remains the same, except you would want to incorporate as much cardio as possible, unlike the Ectomorphs. High-intensity interval training would be a great addition to your workout because by doing that with weight training, your cardio is included. The Endomorph diet is where there are major differences. First of all, you wouldn't want to keep your calories high. You would try to keep them low, so portion your foods out and eat tons of vegetables. Carbs for endomorphs, I highly recommend you keep them under 25%, and your fat intake can actually be quite high. A good place to start would be 40%. I know a lot of endomorphs that have experienced a great amount of success with a ketogenic diet, which is a very high-fat, low-carb diet. Last but not least is the Mesomorph, and some identifying features are a V-shaped frame, thin waist, broad shoulders, symmetrical build, and they seem to put on muscle easily and burn fat easily. Some popular Mesomorphs are Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Halle Berry, and Tina Turner. If you think that you're a Mesomorph, you're in luck because everything is going to be easier for you, which is super awesome. As a Mesomorph, in order to burn fat, you will have to be in a calorie deficit just like everyone else, but you will want to have enough calories to maintain muscle mass. As a Mesomorph, I recommend you keep your carbs somewhere around 40 to 60% and try to limit cardio to a minimum when cutting. The last thing that I have to say is that you can be a combination of more than one body type. So you might be a mix of a Mesomorph and an Endomorph rather than a pure Endomorph. Or you might be a combination of an Ectomorph and a Mesomorph. In this kind of situation, I always take the advice for the body type that I'm trying to move away from. So if I was an Endomorph and a Mesomorph, but I was looking to become more of a pure Mesomorph, then I would follow the workout and the diet advice given to the Endomorph, not the Mesomorph. I hope that makes sense. The bottom line is, if you think that you're a combination of more than one body type, that's totally fine. You would just apply the tips for your particular situation. But that's pretty much it, guys. I really hope this video has helped you guys out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I release new tips and tricks just like this. I'll see you guys soon.
Pump it.